Welcome to Understand Chemistry. This is Dr. Bilal with my new video series on periodic table and periodicity. In this episode, I am going to discuss a very fundamental property of atom, that is atomic size or atomic radius. I have covered this topic in two separate video clips. In the first part, I will discuss covalent radii, factor affecting covalent radii, and the variation of covalent radii in groups and periods. And later I will give you a brief introduction to metallic radii and van der Waals radii. In the second part, I will discuss in detail the concept of ionic radii, variation of ionic radii in groups and period, and will explain you the concept of isoelectronic species and variation of ionic radii in isoelectronic species. In the end, I will show you how to measure ionic radii with the help of Landis method and Pauling's method. The size of an atom is described in terms of radius of an atom. Atomic radius is defined as the distance between the nucleus of the atom and the electrons in the outermost shell. The absolute size of an atom cannot be defined exactly because of some limitations. Firstly, according to wave particle nature of electron, it is difficult to determine the position of electron with certainty. Secondly, the electronic clouds around the nucleus of an atom is influenced by neighboring atoms. So an atom can have different radius in different environments. Because of these limitations, we cannot find the atomic size of an isolated atom. Then how to calculate the atomic radius? The simple solution to the problem is to measure the internuclear distance between two bonded atoms. Since two atoms can be bonded together with different types of bond, therefore atomic radius is defined in terms of covalent radius, metallic radius, van der Waals radius, and ionic radius. At first, let us talk about covalent radius. Generally, two types of covalent molecules are existed. First type of molecules are called homonuclear diatomic molecules, and the second type of molecules are called heteronuclear diatomic molecules. Homonuclear diatomic molecules are formed when a covalent bond is formed between two like atoms. H2, Cl2, Br2, that is hydrogen, chlorine and bromine, are the example of homonuclear diatomic molecules. For such molecules, the covalent radius is defined as half of the distance between the nuclei of two atoms. Mathematically, it is described by the formula Ra is equal to internuclear distance divided by 2. For example, in hydrogen molecule, if the internuclear distance between two hydrogen atoms is 74 picometer, then what would be the covalent radius of hydrogen atom? By using above formula, it is calculated as 37 picometer. Similarly, in chlorine molecule, if we want to calculate covalent radius of chlorine atom when internuclear distance between two chlorine atoms is 198 picometer, then we have to divide 198 by 2 to obtain the covalent or single covalent radius of chlorine atom, which is equal to 99 picometer. Two atoms in a molecule can be bonded together by a double or triple bond. For such compounds, the covalent radii are termed as double bond covalent radii or triple bond covalent radii. Here are some examples of double bond covalent radii with values in picometer. Some of the examples of triple bond covalent radii with values in picometer are given here. If we compare the single bond, double bond and triple bond covalent radii between two atoms, we observe that single bond covalent radii is greater than double bond covalent radii, which is greater than triple bond covalent radii. This makes sense, as with the multiplicity of bond, the internuclear distance between two atoms get decreased, and hence the radii. Now let us talk about heteronuclear diatomic molecules. Heteronuclear diatomic molecules are formed when a covalent bond is formed between two unlike atoms. Examples of such molecules include HCl, HBr, and Hi. To find out the covalent radius of an atom in heteronuclear diatomic molecules, we have to consider the electronegativity difference between two combining atoms. For molecules that have small difference of electronegativity between the bonded atom, the covalent radius can be calculated by the formula internuclear distance between two atoms is equal to covalent radius of atom A plus covalent radius of atom B. Let us consider the heteronuclear polyatomic molecule methane. If we want to calculate atomic radius of hydrogen RH, when we know the internuclear distance between carbon and hydrogen DHC and covalent radius of carbon RC, then using formula DHC is equal to RH plus RC, and by placing values, we obtain radius of hydrogen is equal to 37 picometer. On the other hand, if the electronegativity difference between two bonded atoms is large, then the previous formula is no longer valid. For example, in HF molecule, radius of hydrogen is 37 picometer and radius of olefin is 72 picometer. The internucleus distance between two heteroatoms, that is hydrogen and olefin, is calculated by the formula which is equal to 109 picometer. But the experimental value of internuclear distance between hydrogen and olefin atoms using spectroscopic method is equal to 92 picometer. Because of huge difference between theoretical and experimental values that arises due to ionic character of the bond, there is a need to modify this formula. Schumacher and Stevenson had modified the formula and include the difference of electronegativity in the formula. According to them, internuclear distance between two atoms is equal to radius of atom A plus radius of atom B minus 9 times the difference of electronegativity. Now apply this formula to HF molecule. It will take the form DHF is equal to radius of hydrogen plus radius of olefin plus 9 multiplied by difference of electronegativity of olefin and hydrogen. By placing values of radius of hydrogen, radius of olefin, electronegativity of olefin and hydrogen, we obtained the internuclear distance between hydrogen and olefin equals to 91.9 picometer, which is almost the same as experimental value. Atomic radii is usually expressed in two different units, that is angstrom or picometer. But one can convert easily angstrom to picometer or picometer to angstrom by applying these two unit conversion formulae when it is required. But in my whole discussion, I will consider only picometer. Before I move further to explain periodic trend of covalent radii in modern periodic table and factor affecting covalent radii, let me introduce you with two important terms. These are metallic radii and van der Waals radii. The term metallic radius is used to describe the radius of metallic atom, as in metallic crystal the atoms are not connected to each other by covalent bond, rather by metallic bond. Therefore, for metal, the term metallic radius is used. It is defined as half of the distance between two successive nuclei of two adjacent atoms in a metallic closed pack crystal lattice. Mathematically, we can write Rm is equal to dmm divided by 2, where dmm is the internuclear distance between two metallic atoms. It has been found that the covalent radii of metallic atoms, as determined from metallic hydride and organometallic compounds, has almost same value as of metallic radii determined from atomic volumes of metallic phase. Therefore, they are sometimes also called metallic covalent radii. Now, let us see what is van der Waals radius. The term van der Waals radius is used for non-metal in covalent compounds and noble gases. It is defined as half of the distance between two successive nuclei of two covalently bonded molecules of like atoms or two successive atoms of inert gas. In the figure, two iodine molecule has been shown. In this figure, one iodine atom feel a long-range interaction with iodine atoms of other neighboring iodine molecule. The internuclear distance between these two interacting nuclei is 2 times the van der Waals radius, or in other words, half of the internuclear distance between these two interacting iodine atoms is called van der Waals radius. Van der Waals radius is greater than covalent radius because van der Waals force of attraction are weaker than covalent bonds. In the following slides, I will show you the periodic trend of covalent radii in modern periodic table. But at first, let us see the overall trend of covalent radii in modern periodic table in a single blink. In this periodic table, covalent radii of elements are given. The elements are represented by the symbol. The number above the symbol is atomic number, while covalent radii in picometer are given at the bottom of the symbol. The intensity of the green color from light to dark is directly related to the size of covalent radius from small to large. In this periodic table, there are some elements whose covalent radii are not known. They are shown in yellow. The radii given in brackets are not covalent radii, rather van der Waals radii. This is true for all noble gases or group 8A elements. Now, in order to find the trend of covalent radii in periodic table, it is important to understand the factor affecting covalent radii. The first factor in this connection is number of shell or principal quantum number. As number of shell increases, the size of atom also increases. Secondly, the multiplicity of the bonds. More the bond multiplicity, less will be the covalent radius. That is, as we discussed before, the single bond covalent radius is more than the double bond covalent radius, which is greater than triple bond covalent radius. The third factor on which covalent radius is dependent is effective nuclear charge. Let me explain effective nuclear charge. It is defined as net force of attraction caused by positively charged nucleus on any electrons in the outer shell. To elaborate further, consider an atom, for example calcium. It has atomic number 20. It means it has 20 proton in the nucleus and 20 electron orbiting around the nucleus. In this atom, all the electrons are attracted to the positively charged nucleus. At the same time, the outer electrons observe force of repulsion by all the electrons present in inner shells. These electrons are called shielding electrons or screening electrons, as they shield the nucleus from the attractive force exerted by electron in the outermost shell. This effect is called shielding effect. So, in order to find the value of effective nuclear charge, we have to consider not only the nuclear charge but also shielding constant, whose value is dependent on the number of electrons in the inner shell. Mathematically, we can write Z effective is equal to Z minus sigma. In order to find numerical value of nuclear charge, we use Slater's rule. To find more detail how to apply Slater's rule to calculate effective nuclear charge felt by any electron in an atom or ion, see my detailed video on Slater's rule. The link of the video has been given in the description. The effective nuclear charge is not same for all electrons, so we have to select an electron to find the effective nuclear charge felt by that electron. Since we are interested in atomic size, so it is more logical to find the effective nuclear charge felt by electron of outermost shell. As we already know, the nuclear charge, that is atomic number, which is 20 in this case. So to find effective nuclear charge, we have to first calculate value of shielding constant, sigma. To calculate value of sigma, let us consider the electronic configuration of calcium. The electronic configuration of calcium is shown here. From the electronic configuration, we came to know that calcium has 4 shells, K, L, M and N. To find value of sigma, we have to multiply number of electrons present in K shell and L shell with 1. The number of electrons present in M shell with 0.85 and the number of electrons present in N shell or outermost shell, including the electron for which we are calculating effective nuclear charge, with 0.35. By placing these values, we obtain value of shielding constant equal to 17.15. By placing this value in the equation of effective nuclear charge, we obtain Z effective is equal to 2.85. From this detail, we see that mole will be the value of effective nuclear charge. More strongly, the outermost electron will be pulled towards the nucleus. The net result is that the atomic size will be decreased. Now, let me show you the variation of covalent radii in a period. For this, consider the element of second period of modern periodic table. In the table shown here, electronic configuration, effective nuclear charge felt by outermost electron, and covalent radii of elements of second period are given. From the table, we can see that in a period, when we move from left to right, atomic number increases, means the number of electron and number of proton increases, but in a period, all the atoms have same number of shells. This results in increasing effective nuclear charge. Hence, the atomic size decreases from left to right in a period. At the end of the period, we can observe increase in atomic size. In this example, the atomic size of neon is more than the fluorine. This is because the atomic radius in case of neon is van der Waals, while in case of fluorine, it is covalent radius. I have shown you before that van der Waals radius is always greater in magnitude than the covalent radius, as van der Waals interactions are much weaker than a covalent bond. Now we will see the variation of covalent radii in a group. In a particular group, covalent radii increases from top to bottom. To understand this concept, let us consider element of group 1A of the periodic table. As we move from top to bottom in a group, the atomic number increases. That is, the number of electrons, also the number of protons increases. Therefore, the effective nuclear charge felt by outer electrons also increases. But in addition to this, number of shell also increases. The net effect is that the atomic size increases from top to bottom in a group. To know about ionic radii and its stand in periodic table and method of measurement, please don't forget to watch the second part of this video. Thanks for watching. To watch similar videos, please subscribe Understand Chemistry and hit the bell icon to receive the notification of my latest video.